Well, Stat here. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be profiling my Mutant deck. The new support card from Battle of Chaos fixes 90% of the problems with this deck. This deck is so much better now in terms of consistency and the number of plays that you can make. I think there's a lot of potential here for this deck to become rogue. It can steal wins from other rogue decks. Overall, it's a pretty solid deck. It's really fun to play too, so I highly recommend giving this deck a try. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, leave a comment down below. I always enjoy interacting with each and every one of you, and please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. Without further ado, so first we're playing Triple Mutant M05 and Triple Mutant ST46. These two are your primary starters. M05 can search for monsters whenever it's summoned, and then ST46 can search for spell and trap. Just keep in mind they both have to be mutant cards. But they both have a secondary effect, which is the same, where you could tribute it, banish a mutant card from your hand, and depending on the card banished, you can special summon one of the bigger mutants from your deck. So if it's a monster, you could summon Beast from your deck. If it's a spell, you could bring out Mist. Or if it's a trap, you could bring out Arsenal. Now, we're not playing Mist in the main deck because it's not that great of a card. So this is your primary starters. Typically, if you open with ST46, you could search for your field spell. And then if you also have this in your hand, you could special summon it after you activate the field spell. And then search for your mutant. And then Mutant's an extender that allows itself to special summon, which we'll get into next. So we were playing Triple Mutant. If you control a mutant monster, you could special summon this card from your hand. Its secondary effect is pretty much the same, except you're allowed to banish cards from your deck too, and depending on the type, it's the same thing as the other two. Just keep in mind the monster that you bring out, you take damage equal to that monster's attack points. But this is the card that was released in Battle of Chaos. It's a phenomenal card. It fixes everything that this deck struggled with. It's just really good. We're playing 2 Beast and 1 Arsenal. We're not playing Mist because, 1, we're trying to reduce the number of bricks that we're playing. And 2, Beast is just a better card overall. It's able to negate the activation of spells and banish them. And then with Arsenal, you're able to banish a monster whenever an opponent activates a monster effect. It's kind of like a Ghost Ogre in a way. And Ghost Ogre is really good this format. This allows for your bigger fusion plays, which we'll get into here in a little bit. For the hand traps, we are playing Triple Droll and Lockbird, and 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Now, I was playing against a lot of Flunder this past weekend. So if you want to play D-Shifter over the Droll, you can. But I was playing Droll for that reason. And then Ghost Ogre is really good this format. Getting into the spell cards, we are playing Triple Emergency Teleport. Now this allows us to go into our starters. And sorry to the budget players, but we are playing Triple Pot of Extravagance. Now, if you ask me what the budget options are, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you could keep the Drolls in and add your D-Shifter. I don't know. But this deck really needs the prosperity because you want to essentially draw into your key starters to get your plays going. We're playing 1 Mutant Evolution Lab. All your mutants gain 100 attack for each mutant card banished. And when this card is activated, you can special summon a level 4 lower mutant monster from your hand. So one of your starters, like I said, if you open with ST46, you could summon it, search for this, and then you could summon one of your other starters from your hand. Ideally, your M05. That way you could search for your mutant, and then special summon. We're playing 1 Mutant Fusion. It's not a card that you often use, but it's there if you need it to go into one of your fusions. We're playing 1 Call by the Grave to counter hand traps. We're playing Triple Mutant Cry. This allows us to shuffle monsters from our field, graveyard, and banish zone back into the deck to fusion summon into one of our mutants. Keep in mind, this can only be activated during the main phase. Typically, what I try to do is that when my opponent tries to end their main phase, I'll flip this and then disrupt them even further. But yeah, it's a really good card overall, just because it also recycles resources. We're playing triple infinite impermanence, triple torrential tribute, just because, you know, they're generic trap cards. This deck is heavily focused on disrupting your opponent, and we do need this. Torrential Tribute doesn't really affect us too much because, like I said, Mutant Cry just shuffles our mutants back into the deck, so it doesn't really affect us too much. We're playing triple There Could Be Only One for a generic Floodgate, and we're playing 2 Skill Drain. I highly recommend playing 3 because surprisingly this deck isn't too affected by Skill Drain. Because if you disrupt your opponent using your traps and then your bigger mutant effects, you can just flip this and they're completely shut down. And also, the bigger mutants have decent attack points too, so there is potential for OTK. Now, getting into the extra deck, playing 1 mutant Ultimus and then 2 mutant Synthesis. Not that bad fusions. I just wish we had more fusions to go into that were better, that allowed us to have a negate without the requirement of having 3 bigger mutant cards. But yeah, so this one takes 3 of your level 8 mutant cards, and it allows you to negate an opponent's card effect by banishing a mutant card from your field or graveyard. And also, if this is destroyed, you could take 3 of your banished mutant cards, a monster spawn trap, and then you could just add them to your hand. This one's very similar, except that it just gains protection instead of negating. And then also, if this is destroyed, you can add a banished mutant card to your hand. Also, when this is fusion summoned, you have to pop a card on the field. So again, it's a disruption. So if you activate Mutant Cry using any of your 2 mutant monsters as material, you can just pop a card when it's summoned. So it's not bad. For generic Link monsters, we are playing 1 Masquerena, 1 Unicorn for the spin, 1 Phoenix for spell and trap destruction, 1 Appaloosa for monster negate, 1 Underworld Goddess. If you watch my videos, it's my favorite Link monster. It's a Kaiju, Skill Drain, and Ghost Spell. It's a really good card. We're playing 1 Avermax, 1 Boral Sword for the OTK, 1 Relinquished Anima. I've been saying this last several videos. For whatever reason, people like to play their monsters directly underneath the monster zone, so it's pretty much a free monster removal. And then 1 Gravity Controller, which we don't really go into. You could probably cut this out for something different. But yeah, those are the generic Link monsters. Getting into the Xyz, we are playing 1 Soul Sweeper. This card was released in Battle of Chaos. It's a really good card, in my opinion. You're able to detach a material to banish an opponent's monster until their end phase, so it's really cool. Unfortunately, it's not a quick effect, but if you need to set up an OTK, this card helps you get you there. Also, if it's destroyed, you can target your banished cards equal to the number of materials this card has, shuffle them back into your deck. So it's a really neat tech. Again, you could play whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. We're playing 1 Lancelot. Pretty much negates the first card that's activated. And whenever it attacks, you could pop a face-up card on the field. And it also has the ability to attack directly, which, as I said in my last video, is a free Zeus. So this concludes today's deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really fun deck. It's very consistent. It's very strong. It's very good at interrupting your opponent. So it's a deck that I highly recommend you at least give it a try. Like I said, it's a very enjoyable deck. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, leave a comment down below. As always, I enjoy interacting with each and every one of you, and please consider subscribing for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. You hit the notification bell to be notified of when I go live and upload. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, @ListStatYGO. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.